Most people think being Machiavellian means being the loudest, most aggressive person in the room. They think it's about blatant manipulation, cold stares, and forcing your will onto others. But that isn't Machiavellianism. That's just amateur theater. And it's exactly how you get caught, exposed, and ultimately destroyed. The true master of power doesn't force anyone to do anything. When Kiyotaka Ayanokoji operates, he doesn't break your will. He reshapes your entire environment. He feeds you specific variables and drops subtle psychological anchors so flawlessly that you execute his exact plan, all while celebrating it as your own brilliant idea. You think you are playing your own game, but you are just running his script. While generic videos tell you to just treat people like tools or hide your intelligence, they completely miss the systemic chess game being played beneath the surface. Today, we are stripping away the superficial anime edits to break down the highly advanced, clinical, and dangerous psychology of how to be truly Machiavellian, like Kiyotaka Ayanokoji. Step 1. Cognitive empathy, the cold map of human emotion. To build a mind capable of this level of control, you must first correct a massive misconception spread by amateur psychology videos. People assume that a Machiavellian mastermind lacks empathy. They think Ayanokoji is simply a hollow shell who doesn't understand human feelings. That is completely wrong. Ayanokoji possesses a level of empathy that borders on the superhuman, but it is entirely disconnected from emotion. In psychology, this is known as cognitive empathy, or cold empathy. While ordinary people use emotional empathy to feel what someone else is feeling, which instantly clouds their judgment and compromises their logic, a true strategist uses cognitive empathy to calculate what someone else is feeling. You are not sympathizing with their pain. You are treating their internal emotional landscape like a mechanic inspects a broken engine. When you sit in a room, you must train yourself to completely ignore the superficial words coming out of a person's mouth and focus strictly on their hidden psychological dependencies. You are silently asking yourself 3 diagnostic questions. First, what is this person's primary source of validation? Do they need to feel smart? Do they need to feel powerful? Or do they desperately need to feel included? Second, what is their hidden insecurity? What is the one thing they are terrified people will discover about them? And third, what is their emotional breaking point? By processing human emotions as cold variables rather than feelings, you don't get angry when someone attacks you, and you don't get flattered when someone praises you. Instead, you map their reactions out as structural data points. You see their pride, their anger, and their fear not as human traits but as precise levers of leverage. The moment you understand exactly what a person needs to feed their ego and what they are terrified to lose, you hold the remote control to their behavior. You can predict their next move before they even conceive it, because you know the rules of the internal script they are trapped in. Step 2. Strategic underbalancing, the weaponization of arrogance. Once you have mapped their internal landscape, you execute the most counterintuitive phase of the Machiavellian playbook, strategic underbalancing. Average people have a fragile, desperate need to appear smart, powerful, and important. They want everyone in the room to know they are the dominant force. A true master of power views this exact desire as a fatal security flaw. Ayanokoji doesn't hide his intelligence out of modesty. He hides it because he understands that in the theater of human interaction, a perceived threat triggers immediate defenses. If people think you are brilliant, they watch you. If they think you are ambitious, they block you. To bypass this entirely, you must learn to deliberately lower your perceived status. You intentionally position yourself at the absolute bottom of the social hierarchy, scoring exactly average, speaking only when spoken to, and allowing others to believe they are vastly superior to you. In psychology, this creates a massive cognitive deficit in your opponent. When an arrogant, high-status player looks at you and sees zero threat, their defensive guard doesn't just lower, it completely evaporates. They stop filtering their words around you. They talk about their plans, expose their weaknesses, and lay their cards face up on the table, entirely oblivious to the fact that you are gathering raw, unvarnished data. You are weaponizing their own pride against them. While they are busy feeding their fragile egos by looking down on you, you are quietly mapping the entire board. By the time they finally realize you are a player in the game, the trap has already sprung, and they have already marched directly into the configuration you engineered for them weeks ago. Step 3. The proxy wall, insulation, and risk transfer. With their defenses completely lowered, you are ready to initiate action, but you must never do it directly. This introduces the most critical rule of elite Machiavellianism, the proxy wall. Amateur manipulators love the spotlight. They want to personally deliver the blow and take the credit for the victory. That is a catastrophic strategic error. Direct action always leaves a direct footprint. The moment you attack an opponent face to face, you inherit their hostility, you alert their allies, and you build a massive, permanent target on your own back. Ayanokoji completely insulates himself from this risk by operating exclusively through proxies. He finds individuals whose existing, selfish motives already align with the destruction of his target, and he simply gives them the fuel to act. You do not step onto the battlefield yourself. Instead, you drop a precise, anonymous piece of information, or you plant a subtle psychological suggestion into the mind of a proxy like Horikita, Ryuen, or Kushida. You let their ego, their anger, or their ambition drive them to pull the trigger. By doing this, you achieve two things simultaneously. First, your target is neutralized exactly how you planned. Second, the proxy takes the entire public heat, absorbs the inevitable counterattack, and burns their own social capital, while you remain completely invisible, untargeted, and pristine in the shadows. If the plan succeeds, the proxy believes it was their own brilliant victory. If the plan fails, the proxy takes the fall, leaving your position completely uncompromised. You must train your mind to view the people around you not as direct targets, but as kinetic energy waiting to be redirected. True power isn't about being the weapon, it's about being the hand that quietly guides the person holding it. Step 4. The asymmetric balance, the architecture of the trap. The final definitive step to achieving true Machiavellian control is mastering asymmetric balance. A rookie manipulator thinks power is about having a tight grip on people, constantly checking in, threatening them, or micromanaging their actions. But the tighter you squeeze a rope, the faster it frays, and the more likely people are to rebel against you. Ayanokoji never squeezes. He practices absolute minimalism in his control, relying entirely on information asymmetry. He ensures that he always knows everything about everyone else, while they know absolutely nothing about him. Instead of forcing people into compliance, you engineer what choice architects call a forced equilibrium. You create a scenario where compliance is the only logical choice left for them to make. Think about how Ayanokoji anchored Karuizawa. He didn't threaten her into serving him. He allowed her existing social structure to collapse, just enough so that running to him for protection became her absolute best option for survival. You must learn to set up chessboards in your daily life, where your targets feel completely free, completely independent, and completely in control of their actions, yet every single path they could possibly choose to walk leads directly to the outcome you predetermined. You don't lead them by a leash. You simply build the maze and let them run it. When you operate with this level of clinical detachment, you don't need to win arguments or assert dominance. You simply sit back, stay completely silent, and watch the variables fall precisely into place. But let's stop looking at the screen for a second and address the absolute reality of this mindset. Running these 4 steps, cognitive empathy, underbalancing, proxies, and asymmetric balance, isn't a cool aesthetic or an edgy persona you can just switch on for social status. It requires an absolute, borderline, terrifying level of emotional discipline. The second your pride slips, the second you get angry, or the second you look for praise, your entire matrix shatters. To play the game at this level, you have to be willing to completely erase your own ego from the equation.